all comes in, and we can talk about more about it. The cinematography, the picture, the everything, the story. This is Gotham meets Star Wars meets
Yeah.
Angry Maul.
Meddler's Corner! Yeah, tune in, let's go! Dropping into a galaxy far away, talking cosplayers and the roles they play. From the actors to the prop makers' art, every single fan plays a vital part. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life.
Hello, Meddlers. I'm your host, Donny Meddler, and today we got a special one. We're doing our Maul Shadow Lord Premier review. I'm joined by Matt Durham, call sign Darth Glitter, and David Beal, call sign Dialis. How are y'all guys doing today, guys?
Doing great.
So I guess we'll just jump right on in. I want to know your thoughts. We'll just go around the corner. We don't just pretend you got the imaginary stick. We'll go around the corner and then give me on your scale of 1 to 10. On your scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? So let's start with Matt. What'd you think?
1 out of 10, first 2 episodes. I'm gonna give it I'm hooked, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm pretty hooked. Yeah, 9.
Okay. What was your initial thoughts on it? Like, take us through like what you thought. I mean, we're coming from the cosplay world. You know, we want to call ourselves diehard Star Wars fans. But what did you think of the premiere?
Again, I'm pretty bad with series, as I tell you all the time. Again, I still really haven't watched all of Andor, so I was always skeptical going into this. I know, right? Like, I've seen the clips on YouTube, but sitting down and watching it, I haven't finished Rebels yet. Yeah, it goes on. But after seeing the previews, I was pretty hopeful. I was giving it, I don't know, I always give it a chance. Acolyte a chance, Skeleton Crew a chance. I always give them a chance. I liked the preview, so I was going into it like, okay, I think they're going to be doing this right. And boy, these first 2 episodes, I think they nailed it. I think, and I hope it's going in this direction, but because the Maul that was in I think this is like a completely different Maul. Well, no, I don't say that. I think it's after these first 2 episodes, it feels like this is the Maul from Phantom Menace.
Yes.
To me, that's what it feels
Okay.
like. It doesn't feel like Clone Wars Maul or Rebels Maul. This feels like Phantom Menace Maul. And I think they really captured kind of just like that evilness that you like, that I think of when I think of Darth Maul. So yeah, these first 2 episodes met my expectation. I keep looking to see whenever the next episode's supposed to be on, or next 2, or however they're doing it for this series. But yeah, no, I'm thoroughly impressed and happy with these first 2.
David, take it away. What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go in the same direction. I'm going to go like 9, 10. Like, as a diehard Star Wars fan, right? It's a 9. It's a 10, right? There were not a lot of things that I could be picky on. If because as Star Wars fans, now we get picky and this, so they did this, especially like EU guys like me, right? And then as a general fan who just enjoys Star Wars and maybe wants to see a good show, 9 or 10. Like, it's also there. So I have this like kind of hot take and theory on like levels of Star Wars fandom and levels of like there's Star Wars fans like us who, are pretty big Star Wars fans. Like, I've been to conventions, I've been on other Star Wars podcasts. You guys, do the cosplay thing. Like, I think we're like at the knife edge of Star Wars fans, right? And then you have everything in between, right?
Right.
And then you have fans like that I would say were like my mom and my dad, who they have like an OG Star Wars fan because they were, 17 when it came out, and they could go to the film and it was a huge deal and got into that, right? So,
Right.
And there's everything in between. But so if I could go into like Star Wars shows, I think there's levels, like a level 1 to level 10. Level 10 being like super edge comic books, and level 1 being like exposure to the public, being like the movies, right? Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, right? And there's everything in between, right? So like a Rogue One, for instance, would be like a 2 or 3, right? Whereas like Bad Batch might be more like 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Like my friends who are like big Star Wars fans too, they're not really watching that, right? They're watching the main stuff and whatever, or they like the Andor hits in between, right? So you're mentioning Andor. I love Andor because it's that mature, older crowd. It's not the younger crowd. It's trying to hit that crowd of good story. We don't have to do the action thing. We can talk about the relationships and build the characters, and then you could build it slow. I will admit there's also some older character, or obviously our older watchers that are just immature about things and they want to watch the like Marvel, let's do the battle, and I want the superpower. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, whatever you want, dude.
Superhero
There's other Star Wars for that. There's different levels of Star Wars. And I think we're now in a time when we need to be okay with having different levels, right? So Ahsoka comes out, and not everybody might not want to watch it. You know what I mean? It used to be everything came out, and this is where I get into Solo, right? Remember the movie Solo?
Yep.
Solo was when this first hit. I loved it because I was like, I kind of got the vibe. I was like, hey, we're just having fun Star Wars. They're putting out more
fun movie.
Cool.
Yep.
But everybody's like, oh, but it's this failure. It was actually, I think, a marketing failure, my take on it, but it was just something out there. Maul comes in, and we can talk about more about it. The cinematography, the picture, the everything, the story. This is Gotham meets Star Wars meets Angry Maul. And I will say, Matt said, you feel like, Matt, that this is Clone Wars Maul? I mean, excuse me, not Clone Wars, Phantom Menace Maul, right? I feel like this is Dave Filoni Maul. And that is George Lucas said, Dave Filoni, do more with Maul. You pass the torch. This is a character I couldn't develop more. Go. And he has taken that old school thing, and that's his vein. So I'm super excited about it. And I'll tell you, my 6-year-old son is loving it too. So I always love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, guys, just to echo off, I mean, for me, it took me back to when I first saw Phantom Menace. I believe it was in '99. And you know, that scene where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, the doors slide open and there's Maul, and that double blade lightsaber lights up, and our minds are just completely blown away. When the music dropped and it was the callback to Duel of Fates, I got emotional. I was like, okay, this is it. Like I'm completely hooked. I'm on the
and
ride.
I have to interject right there. What I love about the music, and what when we bring in John Williams' music, my 6-year-old son said the same thing. And it's just because that's what music does to you, right? And so that was so cool that got captured. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, hey, we're all excited for it. So go ahead. It was, for me, on the scale of a 1 to 10, I gotta give it, for me, it's a 10. I mean, I was hooked. I was excited. I mean, we got 2 hallway scenes in episode 1 and episode 2. I'm all about those hallway scenes.
Is it like a Rogue One fantasy now? Like,
I think it is. For me, it's just like, give me all the hallway scenes. I want every bit of them. This is Maul, where he's out for revenge. So what better way than to do all the hallway scenes? When it comes to the characters, we were introduced to a few characters. We had Devin, who we were first introduced. She stole some food and was arrested. Of course, we have Maul. We have a new character. I think her name is Rook Cast, the bounty hunter, and the lieutenant, or is it captain? I'm probably breaking rank on him. It's Lawson, the detective. Yes, captain. And then we got the new droid, Two Boots. So
gotta have a droid.
The comic relief droid. Yeah,
it's not a Star Wars without a droid. So what character were y'all drawn to out of these first 2 episodes, Matt? If you
that's not Maul.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, well, maybe Matt will think a second. I will say, Two Boots, I think, is interesting because it got the droid thing. But one thing that bothers me about it is they call him Two Boots and they putting it in there, and they're probably going to like maybe mention why they call him that, or obviously he has 2 boots on. But if you look at like all the other, I was watching it earlier again, like all the other droids walking around the office, you're like, 2 boots. Oh, my bad. No, sorry. Yeah, another guy. My bad. You can tell the difference between them is looking down. I'm like, I don't know. They maybe should have said like one ear or something like that. I don't know. But
I have to say the one that's intriguing me the most, other than our main protagonist, I'm kind of interested in the Master, or the Jedi.
Yeah.
I guess master.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his name wasn't dropped, so I look up his name. His name is Master Ikodaki. Just that's all I have for right now. Hopefully, we're going to get more information on him. But for me,
I love the. Go ahead. Yeah.
no, you take it away.
I love the this time of is really one of my favorite, and then the Imperial time, like all of that span, and this is the beginning of it, so we can see what it's like. That's where I'm rewatching, the different parts of everything. But like for instance, Bad Batch was really interesting because they get into the Order 66 stuff. The last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, that and in case anybody didn't know, they came out. The whole last season came out years after Clone Wars, right? And then if you watch that season, like the first couple episodes are like the main little intro. It's like the kind of kiddie thing and whatever. Although it's like you watch that show, you're like, this is a kid show. But then all of a sudden you get into those last couple episodes with Maul and Ahsoka and everything. And it's like the vibes change. And it's a lot like this show. And I think that's kind of where they launched into it. In Bad Batch, obviously not Maul, but like the same Order 66 stuff. There's just such this evil and this darkness that surrounds this whole time period. And it's just so interesting how, I mean, obviously Andor touches on it too. Like it's, interesting in historical parts of our own culture, and they're resonating parts of our own culture and history rather, that go through these things. And I think that's this part of the history of Star Wars is there's so many stories.
And just on top of that, I mean, you said something earlier, like you have Gotham meets Star Wars. And for me, the character that really hit, and I don't know if y'all ever watched this show. You probably did, David, but did y'all ever watch Law and Order?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So I got a little bit of the vibes of Law and Order from Lawson, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, I'm in. Where's my gavel? Dum, bum, bum, bum.
I can see that. It's
Yeah.
I didn't really watch Law and Order. I just know that. I could see that. I can see how that vibe.
The criminal noir, like
Yeah.
Did y'all watch The Penguin?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's a lot like this, I think, and like HBO, and it's the whole Batman thing going on, the newer Batman stuff going on at the same time, and so you're getting what's happening in between the movies or whatever, but you're getting it from the criminal side. So, Matt said the protagonist of the film, and it's like antagonist, protagonist. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Dave Filoni wants to tell, and we'll see by the end. And here's going to be my prediction: by the end of this series, Dave Filoni wants to tell and have you conflicted on this character. They want you to want him to win. They want you to understand his side. Because Dave Filoni and what he's done with this whole character, I mean, spoiler alert, in Rebels, when Obi-Wan is the one who finally kills, for real, Darth Maul. And it was a great scene because, again, this is all spoilers, so fast forward. But it was just fast because finally Obi-Wan was like, I am a master, and this is how you do it. I don't need to play around. And Maul is obviously a good sword fighter. But in that one moment, you see the anger, and you really get this whole, like, the Force is something that when you have the dark side, it really resonates with you and it really drags you down. And then that encumbrance was gone and he was about to die. He let that go. Same way that Darth Vader did, right, in his death. And so the dark side has nothing more to do with you. You're about to die. The dark side leaves you. And then now you are at peace. And then he's like, hey, are you going to help bring balance to the Force? Like, make sure you save him, bring down Darth Vader. That was his last moments. I feel like they're going to pull that out, and why he has so much anger built up. But really in the back of it is there's a real person in there that's just messed up with the dark side.
I will say, just to interject, I think still what they did on that last scene, I mean, not that last scene with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, I still think it was a good choice, though, that at the end when he was, he does come to clarity, he still says he'll still avenge us. I still think I think that was still key for Darth Maul.
Right. It's on brand.
It's still, right? You're like, okay, he's having clarity, but this dude is still one track mind. It's about revenge. It's about getting even. Now that I'm about to fall, Obi-Wan avenge us both. And, of course, Obi-Wan is one of the true Jedis of the time. I think that was good choice, because then we can still build on that. Like, god damn, still after this, you're like, now where's my fight?
I mean, he's pissed off at the man himself, Sidious. I mean, the one who wronged him. the one who killed his brother.
After all this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's funny
And
because his anger shifted because his whole anger and vengeance, like the whole Clone Wars, anytime Maul was involved with it, he was always trying to get at Obi-Wan. And then finally, it was like he finally realizes it's really Sidious that's screwing things around.
Yep. And I mean, we're seeing some of that. I call it the Sidious level of scheming. You know, when we're first seeing the two syndicates come together, the two crime lords come together. I mean, Maul orchestrated that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What a Sidious level move to just bring them together, let them kill themselves, and then go in and clean up. I mean, awesome. Completely epic. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So we're talking about predictions. I mean, we already said a few predictions. What are, I guess, tin hat time? What are some of our theories that maybe we'll get at the end or maybe in the middle of this series?
I already know of one that's going around already. I'm not gonna touch that one. My theory is I hope that there's an interaction of Vader and Maul. I don't know what kind of interaction, but I would like there to be. Or there's another Sidious and Maul interaction,
Yeah.
which I
think
think the
that
latter is
one,
gonna happen more.
yes.
I would like a Vader because I think he says something again, someone reprimand me, but does he say something about Vader in either Rebels or the other show? I don't remember.
So
Yeah, it was Rebels, right? And he when he saw Vader, he was very afraid of him.
Yes.
Or maybe and I haven't rewatched that part. I didn't get to on my prep for the show, but he was definitely Maul was fearful of Vader, seeing or hearing about him, or when he referenced him.
Okay,
So we
I
want to
hope
know.
that
We want
gets
to know why. Yeah.
that's that
Right.
I'm hoping that gets explained, or you see why. And I also do hope that there's another Sidious Maul interaction. I'm
Mhm.
sure also, I don't even think this is a prediction. I'm pretty sure they're going to show us that span of when Sidious was telling Maul what to do after he killed Savage Press on Mandalore. I'm pretty sure that's coming. But as far as predictions go, I want an interaction between the Sith Lords again.
Okay. David?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a production prediction first because this just happens with all shows. It can't be like Barney Stinson, like all highs. So somewhere around episode 2 to 6 of this series, there's gonna be a filler episode, and it's gonna be like a take it or leave it. Like it just happens. I don't know. I would love it if it was just all intense because there are shows like I think like The Penguin. It was like a movie that they put into a long form and then sliced it up. I feel like there's a lot that could do that. They could just build in the stories, and if they do that, they can interlace things more. My character prediction that kind of goes in that same vein where they can interlace things is that the Maul, they're going to use Maul's interaction with the Padawan as a mirror for his own struggle, right? So she's obviously fresh. She doesn't have any additional training. And I think we see that in all the stories of these Padawans is that their training just stagnates because, they just froze at that one time when the needle dropped. And then they're just immature, right? And then they're just at whatever level they are, and maybe they were fortunate enough to kind of get some. So she's not there. She luckily has this guy to help her out, but he's going to use, and she's going to have this personal struggle when he's trying to pull her into the dark side. And we're going to see his own struggles come out in that. Right. And so it's going to be a mirror. And I hope that they do that more because that'll be a story avenue for us to learn more about Maul and what he's been doing and all this crime thing.
So for me, my prediction is going to be more leading on the Ahsoka path, the live action. So we first saw Marok. That was our first introduction to him on the Ahsoka series. And now we're seeing him alive and well on this show. So my prediction is he's going to get cut down by Maul and Morgan Elspeth, because when he dies in the Ahsoka series, spoiler alert, we see that green mist. He was brought back via a ritual. And so my prediction is going to be that we might get a Morgan Elspeth return or her path on what she was doing when we saw her in The Mandalorian in the Ahsoka series.
See, and I would say, we talked about Sidious and Ahsoka.
Excuse me.
If they bring those characters in and have a big epic duel, I feel like that's not fair for the other shows that they already did that. Because like the Sidious Maul duel is really cool. The Ahsoka Maul duel is really cool. So that's where I feel like we need a Vader Maul duel. I would be disappointed if I had the other ones. Just like, I've already seen this and it's, it doesn't add to the story. It's just, or if they have interactions, I'm fine with that. But if I want an epic duel, I want it to be, why is Darth Vader more powerful and the actual apprentice than Maul? Why is Darth Vader? Because Maul's pretty darn powerful, right? How is Darth Vader more powerful than him? That's what I want to see at this show.
I think to answer that question, I guess my answer would be it's his presence. I mean, not a lot of people. I mean, even in the Ahsoka series, Baylan says, not a lot of people met Anakin Skywalker and lived to tell the tale. So I think it's that presence, how he carries himself, that demeanor. I think he just brings the ultimate fear in everyone. And either Maul knows who he is right now, but I highly doubt Maul knows. I don't think he knows until, is it Rebels?
Yeah, when he was like, like the little thing got cut off from Vader's helmet. He was like, oh, he figured it out.
Yeah. So
wait, but that was before. No, that's after this. Yeah, man, I'm watching too many shows at different times.
Timeline wise, someone out there correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're a year after the Clone Wars in timeline.
Yeah. Something like that.
I think that's pretty close,
Soon.
especially Prime Syndicates and whatnot. Because he was still, we're probably that he got off the ship after wiping out most of the clones and started that. Yeah, I think we're in that period.
Yeah. And he had some time to recover, time to recoup. Still got the Mandalorians hanging around him for a while.
Still got them on him. Yep.
So Matt, you said you didn't want to approach
I'm
the
surprised
subject.
you didn't say it either.
I mean, I had to give. I wrote down a cool theory, but I mean, I think we all need to talk about it.
Do we think Devin is Darth Talon?
I get to ask the questions.
Okay, so fill me in here.
So Darth Talon, Legends lore. It was George and Dave Filoni's idea at Episode 7 to have Maul and Talon take the mantle of the bad guys, but that ended up not happening. I believe it was for Episode 7, but again, Dave Filoni wanted to carry on this story of Maul. And so are we getting a actual canon Talon into the Star Wars universe? My prediction is I think so. The Star Wars nerd, the ultra fan is thinking, hey, let's just get a whole new character. Let her take on her own persona. So I want to gather y'all's thoughts on that.
As far as like dark characters go, I feel like we have the big baddies already, and they're kind of full up.
Okay.
And they've been introduced in the movies, and having a big thing like that is like, I don't know, because it always comes into this dark side thing. It'd be interesting to me, like Fallen Jedi. That's like why Baylan was so interesting to me. Like the Fallen Jedi aspect of things, where like, I mean, honestly, like Dooku, where, they're kind of, I mean, they're being pulled to the dark side, but it's, they're not really Sith, but they are Sith. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I think is interesting, but having another big baddie introduced is just going to mess with me too much. So we'll see. But I said this was George's baby that Filoni's been carrying on, so maybe he'll put it in there.
I really hope they don't.
It's okay.
I like Darth Talon. I like that era. I like Darth Krayt, and he has all his hands, and she's one of like the top generals, and I think there's just another time and place for those like you were saying, like those baddies. They need their own space where Sidious isn't involved, where Maul's not involved, where Kylo Ren, any of the baddies that we've been shown through movies or basically any of the content we've been shown so far. I would rather, if it's gonna be those at this point, still expanded universe, the Kraits, the Revans, the Talons, I kind of wish Plagueis was the same way, but here we are. I want them to.
Yeah. They have room in this one to do a lot of like the baddies being the scum lords. Well, okay, yeah. You're gonna Oh yeah, it's the 11th, 13th Inquisitor. You can just start pulling them out, and then it's, there's a new number. It's like a new Pokemon that came out. I'm saying like the like the Slum Lords and the Crimson Dawn and the Pikes and all that stuff. You can start introducing like the big baddies in that way, and that would really fill in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want, like you were saying, I think there's a space for it, and this is not it.
Well, and also too, like we're in an animation show. I don't think Darth Talon is Disney appropriate. if I'm being nice about it that way.
Right.
I mean, is she cool? Yes, but is it? I mean, take for instance, David's 6-year-old is watching this show. I don't know if are we going to get a different side of Darth Talon? Maybe.
Yeah, I'd be pretty ticked off.
I mean, Disney is going to be like, okay, we got to tone this down. But if we got actual Darth Talon, I don't think that's the way Disney wants to go. Nor do I think
and then
Filoni would want to either.
She feels like, off to that point, it'll feel like a lose-lose. Like either you show her how she's portrayed and how everyone at least
knows her
in our at least category, or you Disneyfy her and then you think it's gonna resonate with the younger crowd or the younger ones, and then you piss off the older generation that are like, why is she clothed?
Yeah.
So that's another good point.
Twi'leks is like the most that we get there, but I don't know. Did you get a vibe when the captain was talking in the to one of his informants or one of the other, the lady that looked like she was from Mass Effect? I got a vibe there, and I was like, what, like. How have y'all interacted before? And you're going to have a drink. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit different Star Wars. And I will admit, if anybody else is watching with their 6-year-old, I'm not necessarily recommending it. It is violent, and there's a lot of things that are pretty violent. There's a couple things I'm like fringing, like we'll talk about it.
Yeah, when he cut the Pikes in half, like
yeah. There's a couple things I'm like, just don't do that at school, okay?
Yeah,
don't cut your friends in half.
I can see David Beale's kid getting on the lunch thing in the cafeteria, lighting up the lightsaber, just going ham.
I do. Speaking of which, I do like how he does that in something, like how he holds his blade and how he does things. Like those are all like different, Maul parts. But so you mentioned animation, and we have to remark on that, right?
Yeah.
This is, I think some of the best animation. Period. Talking about kid shows, Wild Robot. Right? If you haven't watched that, not a kid show. It's a fantastic movie for everybody. But I think that it's the same vein where it's unfortunate that when people see animations, they think kid show, right? Which is not necessarily fair. And then if it's an adult show, it's anime. You know what I mean? So with this though, like I caught it when I watched it, and then I watched some YouTube videos on it later, and they confirmed that how like the backgrounds are like actual painted backgrounds on glass.
Yeah.
And then they superimpose those and put those in, and that adds this really cool aspect with the watercolors. I mean, it's very much like the intro scene was very much Batman, the one with the Joker, the one that everybody loves. It's very much like the rain's coming down, and that's that watercolor. It's a little smudge looking in the background, so everything's dirty, but it doesn't have to look dingy dirty. It's actually a beautiful dirty, and I'm amazed at how they captured that in an animation. That and Wild Robot are the only two that I've seen where they can make something look beautiful has to be messy and not like make it look chintzy. Just bar none, best stuff, best animation, I think. I mean, they if there was an Oscar for animation for short films or TV shows, it would be this show.
Absolutely.
That's true. There's another. Now that you mentioned it, I feel like I've only seen it in like video games where I've been playing Diablo, and like it starts off like on parchment and it's still, but it's grungy. It's very Diablo, but then like a film goes across it, and then it's now live, but it's still that grungy look to it. That glad you that's what it reminds me of, and I do like, especially for this type of animation or this type of content. It feels really like gets you in character.
I mean, and also too the sound effects. So did y'all watch that little clip? So Maul's lightsaber sound effect is Sam Witwer just screaming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw that. I was like,
So
Well, and the
cool.
sound, I'm in my basement right now, and I have the amazing Atmos system, and it sounds fantastic. Star Wars, I mean, thanks to the originals, has always sounded fantastic, and it's always been a high bar when someone works on Star Wars film. That's kind of like a mantle, or something you can put on your mantle. But this does sound great. All of that grittiness, and Filoni wanted this to be a little darker and edgier sound, and everything kind of. They did a great job with all of that, and even I mean, we mentioned one droid, but a whole nother type of droid that we've never seen before, the little bad guy droid, which like Maul pets him, and I'm like, that was weird. Like
That's his puppy, dude.
yeah, I mean, maybe I couldn't tell. I looked this time if you pet him or if he like put his hand on him. The two different things. Because I'm petting him, I'm like, what did you pet a droid for? But he's so cool, and there was like that. There's also that techiness to it. It's like that Batman, James Bond kind of like high tech, like, oh, he shoots the thing off and it opens the door, and then he's doing this and he's doing this. It's very, very fun.
Dude,
it's a whole new
like the battle
style.
of the droids between Two Boots and that other droid, dude, I loved it. Like, going into the complete,
yeah,
techiness and diving deep into, okay, I'm gonna outsmart you. No, I'm gonna outsmart you.
It's not just R2D2 going.
Yeah, turning a knob.
In old school 1977 USB.
Yeah, and then you're just talking mess to each other through all the comms and everything. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but why I brought it up is the sound design of that guy. Like, you can't really tell what he's talking about, but later when you're like, oh, he's like knock knock, or he's like, gotcha, or whatever he does, whatever he says. So,
well, is there anything else we need to discuss or that we missed?
The crime bosses were fun. Yeah, hopping out of the out of the suit. That actor, yeah, good stuff, fun.
Okay. Oh, one question. So we were talking about Maul being an epic schemer, and I can't remember if it was ever mentioned in previous shows as far as like Maul's like touch with his powers with the dark side itself. He's laying the groundwork for wanting to find her apprentice. He's laying the groundwork for getting his revenge. Do we think that Maul predicted that Devin was going to steal, get arrested, and that was going to be his way into gaining control of her? Did he see into the future of that? Do we think he did?
I don't know. It could be just fortunate. The Force works in mysterious ways kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think it ended up, I mean, it could be like the Force guided him this way and he had these ideas. And because I was like, why did they go back just to revenge to kill the little blue guy? Right. And so then like he turns and he looks at her and all of a sudden he's like, this is why I'm here. This is why the vision guided me to do this. And, obviously he has some precognitions or whatever you call it for what should happen or where he should go. So I think I don't know if he was doing it. He was that premeditated, but what do you think?
I don't know. It doesn't feel like Maul is in touch with that part of the Force.
Okay.
I think it was coincidence. He was there to take revenge on the crime lord, and then, I mean, at this point, he's master's not the word I would use, but I mean, he is in touch with the Force, so he felt her presence there in that cell, but doesn't feel like Maul to me would be really thinking about Devin or thinking, like, oh, I'm going in there to do this, but I know there's somebody there. I think that was total coincidence.
Okay.
I don't think
maybe less canon and more plot device. That just was a plot device to get her and him to get connected on the same ship.
Yeah, it's like D&D. You got to put everyone together at some point.
Yeah. At some point, the magical, mystical Force, it brings you together. It's easy to say, oh yeah, it was this mystical thing.
Okay. Well, guys, I can't thank y'all enough for joining me on tonight. Any other closing thoughts?
When's the next one get released?
Monday.
Every Monday. 2 every Monday.
2 every
for 5 Mondays in a row. Yeah. Until May 4th. That's the last one.
May 4th. And then we get to
May 4th.
That's just apparently a big time Star Wars holiday. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Right?
And then we all get to look forward to Mandalorian and Grogu.
Corner! Yeah, tune in, let's go! Dropping into a galaxy far away, talking cosplayers and the roles they play. From the actors to the prop makers' art, every single fan plays a vital part. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the Force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the Force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life.